Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard to this flight. We are here in X-Plane 12 again with the Challenger 650. We'll remove the covers here. Here you can actually, check a lot of different things. But I'll remove the chocks. Then we'll come down over to the other side. Again, we'll remove the wheel chocks for now. Remove some more of the covers here. There's this wheel chock. You can also, we come over here. Here's your baggage door. That is closed right now. Anywho, there's the X-Plane 12 trees. There's, for some reason, a KLM static aircraft. But we'll go ahead and we'll board up the airplane here. There we go. Here you can see the cockpit. You can open up the first door here. That gets you into the restroom. Right? So there's that. And we'll open this up again. We will, for now, head on up to the cockpit and we'll start up the aircraft. There we go. And there we go. All right. Let's go ahead and start the airplane up. So we'll go ahead and get the battery master on. We will be using an APU start. Okay. There we go. Alright. So, for the APU start, what we'll do, let me see, this is check database states. If I, for example, I have the HUD, I am going to test that. But we'll go down to the AC electric page, and you can see the APU, if we get the power fuel switch depressed. You can see we have 20 EGT, and we will start up the APU here. So that looks good. And you can see the EGT is rising and the RPM is rising as well. So that looks good to me. I am going to adjust my FOV, because I do think that this is just a little bit too wide. Well, I don't really know. It could be just wide enough. I'm gonna see how it looks on my phone. It looks fine to me. Okay. Well, I do think it's just maybe a little bit. Go to 74. That looks a little bit better. Okay. So, AP RPM's at 100, and the veil light is on. We'll get the generator on here. You can see that the box for the APU gen is blue, and the circle is yellow. When I get the generator on, it goes green, and you can see that we are powering our electrical buses with our APU power here with 115 volts. So that looks good. We'll run through the checklist page. If we open this, upper menu, and go to the checklist, and we cycle through this. So, like apartment checklist, AC/DC electrics on, nav logo light. So we'll get the lights, and so we'll come here. We'll go nav light on, and passenger signs on and on, emergency lights armed. And I'll start the chrono here real quick. The reason why I'm starting the chrono is because once 6 minutes has elapsed, then we'll get the AC/DC utility on, and our 10th stage bleed air, APU bleed air, to get our packs on. Okay. That's good over there. Lamp test is up top. I think. It's the anti-ice test. Well, the other tests that you have here is you have fire monitor, fire detection, oral, and then you have your SPS smoke detector lamp test. There's the lamp test. So move it to the 1 page. Here we go. All right. Whoops. And then we'll move it to the 2 position. And same thing. All right. Lamp tested. Duck monitor, FMS database, and then we'll initiate the uplink and then test for the anti-skid. So we'll come back down to the FMS here, go to the index page, status, and I have our latest database in here. Our current date is the 7th. I think it's the 9th, but the simulator date is the 7th. But anywho, this is all correct in here. Pause init page, and we'll put in KRNT, and you can see that we're still waiting for our IRSs to align. But for now, we'll put the airport coordinates into the scratch pad and align it to that as our position. Then we can go down to the pedestal here. And we'll go into the flight plan recall, and we'll put in Renton, whoops, and the origin and destination. If we go into the charts, oops, HWD as our destination, and send, and that is flight plan recall. That's being sent over. Okay. We'll now continue down with the checklist and test for the anti-skid here. And there is anti-skid in test and in the CAS message. And it is armed. So that's that. Excess IRS motion. We do need to get our hydraulics on here so we can get our parking brake. But anywho, hydraulic 3A pump on, and then we'll move this to the hydraulic page. So if we get the hydraulic 3A pump on, there you can see that we are pumping fluid, and that fluid is depleted to 73% hydraulic fluid. 2950, 2950. We can actually test this. Here are my toe brakes. Pushing in 2950 versus, if I release it, there's a quantity. You can see I am depressing it. Anywho, we need to come down here and set the parking brake. Park brake set. You can see that our quantity is at 69% right now. That is not what I meant to do. Alright. Go back to the index page, pause init page, and we will set position to GNSS1. And since we have about 8, there we go, RS aligning, do not taxi out 8.5 minutes till we IRSs align, but we do have our GNSS1 position, 1306, which is good there. Alright, so we'll go back to the flight plan page. I'll come down here. Download a flight plan, go to the secondary flight plan, and we will execute that. Okay, and then we'll get the flight plan up in here, and then we'll get the rest of the hydraulic pumps on, and get the ACTC utility switch on in just a couple seconds here. So if we get the hydraulic 1B, 3B, and 2B pumps on, the auto position, you can see that'll open them up, but we just need to get our engines online to actually get hydraulic pressure down to those surfaces. Okay. We'll go ahead and start programming our FMS. So if we look here, runway 16 direct to Talma, and then Juliet 5 to Summa, RBL, and direct. We can also see here our origin runway is 16. So we'll load up the arrival runway. Okay, if we go into approach, the RNAV 28 left. And if you look, we are landing on 28 left. So we'll put in the RNAV, that way we can get vertical guidance down to minimums. And so that it's, well, not technically it's an APV approach. Anywho, we're coming in from the north, so we can go into Sunol. So we'll go arrival, and we can we'll load up in a departure here. That way we can get obstacle clearance. Let's load up Renton real quick. If you look at the departures, I believe it's the Renton. Because if you look at the departure ODP, right, and we're departing off of runway 16. If you look, takeoff minimums, right? It's 400 feet per nautical mile to 2,000. Then we had to comply with our Oroka down in. But if we look at Renton's departure, I think it's the Renton 3. Yeah. Obstacle notes. And if you look at the minimums, standard takeoff minimums with the minimum climb of 405 foot per nautical mile to 800. What we will do, and the reason why is if you look at 16, there's the trees over here. But yeah, so we'll actually load up the Renton 3 departure, and in the arrival, we'll load up the RNAV 28 left, and we'll do Sunol. You can see it's WAS LPV approach, and execute. Go into the legs, and we can step through this, and execute. Okay, so I'll close that out. I will close this out, and we will actually change the format to the plan mode, and we'll zoom in a little bit, and we'll go into the PPAWS, and let's start stepping through this. There's vectors to Tauma, Summa, RBL, Sunol, Jobus, and Kivi, and then there's the approach. So that looks good to me. We'll put this back here, and we'll change this format back to the PPAWS. Okay. Alright, 9 minutes has elapsed. We'll get ACTC utility, and we'll get the APU, LCV, and isolation valve opened, and air conditioning. Okay. So that looks good here. We'll stop this. And APU LCV, the isolation valve, packs are on. Air conditioning and pressurization panel. If we look at Renton, elevation is 32 feet, so we'll leave it where it's at. And altimeter is 3016, so we'll set that in here. And in the standby, and we'll come up here and set that in here, so 3016 is right about there. So the pressurization panel is set. We can check the anti-ice. We'll test. Kind of hard to do that simultaneously, but there you go. So here's detection, And test wing. There you go. Cool. What we can now do is passenger sensor good, ELT arm, shield crew signing, CVR audio panel set, SBS integrated standby, that's fine, clock's good, toss warning, and thrust levers are shut off, that's all good, trims, okay, so you can come down here and you can go, there you go. Fire monitor, okay, okay. And test 1. Okay, and there we go.
Jet pipe overheat. Gear bay overheat. Smoke. Bleed air duct.
Okay.
Anti-ice duct. Wing overheat. Config flaps. Config trim. Config spoilers. Config brakes. Config autopilot.
See, that's doing through all of its things.
Door.
We'll
Nose
close
door.
the
Gear
door
disapproved.
here.
Engine oil. APU. Cell call.
Okay. Jeez. There we go. All right. And then we will close it and locked. All right, and then we'll get out the curtain. Oops. I wish the curtain had better texturing, but other than that, we're looking fine. Okay, and we'll test 2. We'll run through all of those. SPS test. Go. And then we are the lamps. Alright. Looks like the RSs have aligned.
Jet pipe overheat. Gear bay
Alright.
overheat. Smoke.
FMS flight plan,
Bleed
wind,
air
update perf.
duct. Anti-ice duct. Wing
Okay,
overheat.
I'll send that.
Config flaps. Config trim.
Then we can go
Config
to the
spoilers.
perf init page.
Config brakes. Config autopilot.
Alright.
Cabin pressure. Door. Nose door. Gear disagree. Engine oil. APU. Cell call.
Alright, all those oral warnings are complete. Flight plan wind uplink is good. We'll execute. And go back to our index page, and then we'll finish up the perf init. Okay, so cruise altitude, flight level 410, that's good. We'll go into the passengers. We'll put in 8. Cargo's 400 pounds. And we'll get the sensed fuel here, which is 5540. Okay. And taxi fuel and reserves, we'll get it over here. So reserves are 933. And our taxi fuel is 300 pounds. And execute. And we're within our IFR minimums, IFR fuel minimum requirements. VNAV setup, this is not Mach 7.2, it's Mach 7.8. And we're cruising at Mach 0.8. And that's good to me. Execute. Okay, and that's the performance. And we'll go to the takeoff page, and we'll get this one more time. Alright, so winds 350 at 5. Outside air temperature is 17. QNH 3016. And center of gravity trim is 29 Mach. And we're having our engine bleeds off for takeoff. And then we'll get the climb gradient. Okay, top altitude's 3,000. Our climb gradient's 405 feet per nautical mile to 800 feet. Alright, and send. Top altitude's 3,000. We'll put 3,000 feet here. Alright. And climb to 1,000 feet, then that left turn. There's Seattle if you want to hold. I'll get this into TARA. Get this into the likes page. Alright, so that's all my performance information. Takeoff data, that's good. Charts are good. Instruments are good. Departure briefing. And that's all good. So we'll go into the engine start checklist. And we'll be ready to start up our engines here. Alright, so let's go ahead and start this up. Doors are closed. Parking brake is set. Fuel quantity is good. Beacon, boost pumps, and ignition. Alright, so beacon light, ignition, go with system B. Fuel boost pumps on. Okay, and then we'll start up engine number 2 here. On, start, those extinguish, N2's rising, and get fuel. Okay. Looking good. Again, our takeoff procedure is climb heading 150 to 1,000 feet. Then left turn heading 130. So there's 15, then there's 130, and then vectors to our next point. Alright, right engine's good. I'll start up the left engine here. Arm start, extinguished. N2's rising. Passing 20, fuel coming in. Okay. Good engine start. Okay, we'll get the generators. Gen 1 and 2. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll come up top and we'll get Gen 1 and 2 on. We'll leave this, the APU running. We'll get the ignition switches off. And then we'll get the 14-stage bleed air valves opened. And we'll come up top and get the recog taxi light on. Alright, so Gen 1, that's good. Ignition disarm packs on, that's good. Flight controls, spoilers, trim set for takeoff. Trim is 4.6 units. Trim. We'll come down here, arm the thrust reversers. I'll get the traffic. And the weather radar. And then over here, we'll get the terrain radar on. Alright. And that looks fine to me. 2.5. No steer armed. Trim set. What we'll go ahead and do is we'll set flaps 20. Alright. And TI's all good. Alright. Taxi checklist, taxi lights on, NTIs is off. And flaps are good, altimeter's good. And we'll get this other before takeoff checklist. Alright. Looks good up top. And we will release the parking brake and we'll taxi on out to runway 16 here. There we go. Alright, and what we'll do here is we got our windshield heat onto low, and get our probes on, and we're good to go. We'll start our chrono right as we are about to start our takeoff roll. Here's the HUD. There you can see how it looks when I have it focused here. But, anywho. There's Alpha 2. And there's Alpha 1. So that's looking good. I'll have this on the departure chart. Alright. Add a little bit of braking. Alright, passenger signs are good. Alright, passenger signs are good. Anti-collision lights, which is on. Probes are on, windshield heat is on, ATS is off. Continuous ignition, and before takeoff, a checklist will be complete here. There's our after takeoff checklist. So, come up top, continuous ignition. We'll get our landing lights to pulse and our nose light on. We'll leave the recog light on as well. We will come down to the throttle, hit toga toga. There we go. And this is pretty good. We'll arm the nav mode. So you can see LNAV 1. And that looks good over there. Alright, releasing the brakes here. And we will go ahead and taxi on out. There we go. Alright. There's runway 16. Alright. N1 takeoff. Alright, and then right as I line up here, what I'm going to do, see how this says engine bleeds off? And if I go into this perf page here, engine bleeds off, takeoff power is good. We'll go ahead, start the chrono here, and we will release the brakes, get our throttle up. Set the throttle set to about 50% and 1, no warnings. Go ahead, auto throttle system is engaged as I apply takeoff power. Alright. Oh. Holy shit. Alright. Got a positive right gear coming up. Really shitty takeoff, that's okay though. Make sure we're on heading 150, passing through 1,000 feet. So we'll make that heading now 130. And passing 800 feet, we'll get flaps up. Alright. And we're approaching 3,000 feet here. Let's speed up. Okay. Go 240 here. And there we go. All right. And autopilot engaged. We'll get our heading. Actually, we'll go
2,500
direct to Tama. Execute. Alright. Alright. Climb maintain 10,000. And level change. Put it 250. Alright. Continuous ignition. And we'll get the thrust reversers off. We'll come up top and we'll go like this. APU generator off. APU stop. And we'll go into our climb thrust. Alright. Climb, maintain, flight level 410. Again, level change. 50. VNav, flight level change. Passing 10,000, landing lights off, nose light off, recog lights off. Alright, after takeoff checklist. Gen off, guess. Is good. And that looks good over there. And we'll go to the perf menu, resume VNav. And we're climbing on out. There's Renton. Don't need that, don't need that. And we're good to go. Beautiful climb out. And I will catch you guys as we're coming in to land.